Sarah, no last name, just the girl who has memorized every single floorboard creak in this house since she was 7 years old, stands frozen in the doorway of Mark's study at 7:34 p.m. on the first full day of being 18, barefoot on the exact same spot where she once drew a chalk hopscotch grid at age 8. And he pretended not to notice for 3 whole weeks so she could keep playing. The study is exactly the way it has lived in her head for 2 solid years. Warm amber lamplight spilling like honey over the old wooden desk, books leaning against each other like they've been gossiping about her for decades. The chipped blue mug she painted for him when she was 15 still proudly on the shelf. World's okayest neighbor in crooked purple letters that have never quite faded. The faint scent of cedar shelves, fresh coffee, and the wood smoke that always clings to his clothes after evenings on the back porch. Rain taps respectfully at the window like it was hired as background music and told not to overpower the scene. Mark is standing by the window, phone pressed to his ear, back half turned, voice low and private. She only catches fragments, but they land like punches. I can't keep doing this to myself. No, I know exactly how long but today changes everything. I'm done pretending I'm just the guy next door. Midnight came and went, and I'm still here waiting for permission I don't need anymore. He sounds exhausted and relieved and terrified all at once, like he's finally saying the thing he's rehearsed 1,000 times in the shower, in the car, in the dark, when sleep wouldn't come. Sarah didn't mean to eavesdrop. She really truly only came to return the hoodie he lent her last winter when she forgot hers on purpose. The one she has slept in, cried in, lived in for 8 straight months. The one she washed this morning with shaking hands so she could give it back without smelling like she'd stolen pieces of him. She thought she'd just slip in, drape it over the chair, maybe linger in the doorway for 5 extra seconds like she always does. But the old hinges give their tiny, traitorous creak the second she pushes the door wider. Mark stops talking mid-sentence, completely, like someone reached into the universe and hit mute. He turns slowly, so slowly, phone still at his ear, but his eyes find her instantly and the rest of the world disappears. The person on the other end is clearly still speaking. She can hear the faint, confused, "Mark? Hello? You cut out, are you okay?" But he doesn't answer. He just stares, green-gray eyes wide, lips parted, breath caught somewhere between shock and sunrise. Sarah steps inside, lets the door swing shut behind her with a soft, final click that echoes like a heartbeat in church. "I just turned 18, she says, trying for casual and missing by a mile. Her voice cracks like ice on a puddle in March. "And you stopped talking the second I walked in." The silence that follows is so full it hums. It crackles. It breathes. Mark lowers the phone slowly, ends the call without a word, and slips it into his pocket like it's suddenly made of lead. His throat works on a swallow that looks painful. He looks flustered. Actually, genuinely, beautifully flustered. The way he only ever does when she catches him completely off guard. Like the day she was 14 and walked in on him attempting to wrap her birthday gift with duct tape and pure stubbornness. Or the day she was 16 and he carried her inside after she fell asleep on the porch swing, waiting for the storm to pass. "Sarah," he says, soft and careful, like her name is made of glass and gold and every promise he's ever made to himself. "I didn't hear you come in." She takes another step, then another, then another. The lamplight spills across her face, across the soft gray hoodie she's still wearing. His hoodie, sleeves pushed up, hem skimming her thighs. Across the bare legs and nervous hands twisting the fabric like it's the only thing keeping her from floating away. "I know," she whispers. "That's why I'm here. Because you stopped. Mid-sentence, mid-breath. Like I changed everything just by existing in the same room. Like you've been waiting for me to walk in and give you permission to finish that sentence out loud." He doesn't deny it. He just watches her, eyes tracing every inch like he's seeing her for the very first time, and also like he's memorized her in his sleep for years. The rain gets louder outside, like it's holding its breath with them. "It wasn't what I was saying," he finally murmurs, voice rough around the edges, scraped raw with 2 years of restraint and 1 minute of freedom. "It was you." The room shrinks to the size of their breathing. Sarah closes the distance, 1 step, 2, 3, 4, 5, until she's close enough to see the flecks of gold that appear in his eyes when the lamplight hits them just right. The faint scar above his left eyebrow from the time he tried to teach her to skateboard at 14 and ate pavement instead, the way his pulse is racing at the base of his throat like a hummingbird trapped under skin. "I've been practicing walking into this room for 2 years, she says, voice trembling but sure. tears already slipping free because she's done pretending. Practicing what I'd say when I didn't have to be scared anymore. When I was finally old enough to stand here and mean it. When I didn't have to pretend I was just returning a hoodie, or borrowing a book, or asking you to check why my car made that weird noise, or falling asleep on your couch by accident. I practiced it every single night before I fell asleep. I practiced it in the mirror this morning while the clock ticked past midnight, and I finally got to stop counting down and start counting up. And now I'm here, and you're looking at me like I'm the reason you stopped breathing. He exhales, one long, trembling breath that sounds like 2 years of holding it in, and lifts a hand to brush a loose strand of hair behind her ear with fingers that shake just enough to make her heart crack wide open. I was telling him, he says quietly, voice barely above the rain. My oldest friend, the one who's been telling me I was an idiot for waiting, that I couldn't keep pretending anymore, that I was done waiting for someday, that I was done making excuses to be near you without ever being allowed to stay, that I was done being the safe guy next door when all I've ever wanted was to be the man who gets to hold you when you cry and celebrate when you laugh and wake up next to you every single morning, that the second the clock hit midnight and you turned 18, I was going to stop pretending I didn't love you with everything I am. Sarah's eyes fill so fast, the room blurs into watercolor. He cups her face with both hands now, gentle and reverent, thumbs brushing away tears like they're sacred. And then you walked in, he whispers, forehead resting against hers, eyes closed, like he's been carrying this moment in his chest for years, and it's finally heavy enough to set down. And I couldn't finish the sentence, because you were here, and I didn't need to say it to him anymore. I just needed to say it to you. The rain gets louder outside like it's applauding. The lamplight flickers once like it's emotional. Sarah smiles, small, shaky, perfect, tears falling freely now. Then say it! He opens his eyes, green-gray and shining, and so full of everything he's never been allowed to give her. I love you, Sarah, he says, voice breaking on her name like it's the first honest thing he's ever said in his life. I've loved you since you were 16 and fell asleep on my couch with your feet in my lap, and I sat awake all night, terrified to move, because if I did, I'd kiss you and ruin everything. I've loved you every single day since. I've loved you through every borrowed hoodie and every late-night talk on the porch and every time you cried on my shoulder and I had to pretend my heart wasn't breaking with yours. And I've been waiting, God, I've been waiting for the day I could finally say it out loud without breaking every rule I thought I had to follow. She laughs through happy tears and fists her hands in his shirt, pulling him the last inch closer until there's no space left for pretending. I love you too, she whispers. I practice that part the most, every night, every single night. The kiss that follows is soft, slow, reverent, and perfect, like the first page of the rest of their lives. Sarah winks at the camera, phone propped on the bookshelf where it's been recording since 7:33 p.m., red light glowing soft and steady, hoodie sleeve slipped completely off one shoulder and never, ever going back up. Tears shining on her cheeks in the lamplight like tiny stars. And that's the full, uncut, heart-exploding, 2-year wait, rain-soaked, every detail I can remember story of the night I walked into his study and he stopped talking mid-sentence because loving me out loud was finally allowed. Some silences aren't empty. Some pauses are prayers finally answered. Some moments you turn 18 and the man who's been waiting 2 years to speak just stops everything to say your name like it's the only word he's ever needed. Like subscribe, ring the bell, comment the second someone went completely quiet the moment you walked in, and you knew, without a single word, that everything was about to change. Forever. Just turned 18, just walked in, and he finally let the truth out loud. And we're never going back to quiet again. Ever.